Hello everyone and welcome to Harv's World, where we are taking a look at Crawford Farms by Rubber Burner 89. Now this map popped up on ModHub today, but this is a carryover from FS17. Rubber Burner 89 has brought his map from FS17 to FS19, and this is a rework of that map. So let's take a look, shall we? Now what he has to tell us is that this is seasons ready. The map is based off the east coast of Canada. He used a Google Earth image and correct terrain levels to correctly represent the area as close as possible. The map has been completely overhauled for FS19. There are custom NPCs for lands and transport missions. Seasons ready with more hardwood trees than ever for an eye-catching view through all seasons. Interesting. There is a lime station, animated objects, 40 fields from small to large, more than 25 forestry areas, and yes, forestry is very prevalent on this map, I have to tell you. 3 main farms, and it does have animal pen extension support. So let's get started. This is the main farm. This is where you spawn in. As you can see, it's pretty standard FS19 buildings and such. You do have a shop right here where you can repair your equipment. There is a whole slew of starting equipment. Now we are on New Farmer as always. The only difference between New Farmer, Farm Manager, and Start from Scratch is, of course, on New Farmer or on Farm Manager and Start from Scratch, you have no lands, but you do own the pickup truck. No other equipment, but you do have a pickup truck to start with. That seems reasonable to me. The main farm is laid out fairly well. You have a lot of room to work in. This is not like one of the European farms where everything is very tight. You have a lot of space here. Let's look at our starting lineup, shall we? Let's just see what equipment Rubber Burner 89 has given us to start with. We go into our garage. We've got the John Deere 6250 300 horsepower, the Case CVX 115 Maxim 145. We do have the small New Holland TX 32, the pickup truck, as I said, a small Stroutman, a couple of headers for our harvesters, and he did give us potato equipment. So we do have a pull behind potato harvester, a sower, and a topper. If you're into potatoes, 3 cheers for you. If not, well, that's a nice little bit of starting cash you can put in your pocket. There's a small Kuhn cultivator, Amazon seeder, Amazon planter, or Amazon, I should say, Amazon seeder, Amazon planter. He did give the nice big Bredal spreader for lime and fertilizer, so that's nice to start with. Disc vine mower from New Holland. We've got the Kuhn grass work equipment, tedder, rake, a New Holland baler, and a bale trailer. We've got a water trailer. We have got front loader equipment out the yin yang, bucket, bale spike, pallet fork, another bale spike. We have a lovely bale shredder, a couple of weights, and you even start with a couple of conveyor belts, which is kind of interesting. I don't know that I've seen starting equipment starting with conveyor belts, but that could be handy. Could be very handy, or it could just be extra money in your pocket. Totally up to you. Now this, like I said, is our main farmyard, but if we go and look at our lands here, we own a good chunk of real estate on this map to start with. I mean, look at that. That's pretty darn sizable. Now, there are 5 fields to start with, 15, 16, 17, 19, and 20. This area is going to be your main farm, of course. This stretch through here is mostly forestry, so if you want to utilize this to your advantage, you're going to need to clear some land. Now, with all of that said, one other thing that we start with on this map are animals. We start with 50 pigs and 50 sheep. If you're not into animals, that's cool. That's a cool 50 grand in your pocket if you sell off the sheep, and another cool 50 grand in your pocket if you sell off the pigs. Totally up to you. Now, one thing to keep in mind, you cannot sell any of the buildings. None of them are saleable. It is what it is. Now we go back and look at our lands one more time. All the lands seem reasonably priced based on what you start with. You know, so this is probably our biggest field right here. Almost 5 hectares. Roughly 10 acres. And that's $238,000. But then this forest areas are significantly more expensive. But that's a cool $250,000. I guess I've got this set to pounds. And I know I'm going to keep saying dollars, so I'm just going to switch everything to acres and pounds real quick. Yeah, 11.7 acres, so I was off the mark just a little bit there. But you can see 5.75 and 6.68. Look at the dramatic price difference there. So forested areas, like all this around the edge of the map, all these brown areas here, this is all forest, and these are not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. So if you're into forestry, you could get your start right about here and hopefully make enough money maybe to start buying bigger. So there you go. Now, as far as sale points go, we have got Andrew's Maple Farm, animal feed sales, a second animal feed sales, biogas plant. Now that's a nice feature. Biogas plant is available right out of the gate. You don't have to own it. It's just automatically. In fact, we don't own it. It's right down here. We could buy it, I suppose, if you wanted to use like the bunker silos or something, but it is a buy point, or a sell point I should say, right out of the gate. So you can sell your silage, grass, hay, and it will even take manure, so that's handy, and slurry as well. So extra money to be made at the biogas plant right out of the gate. We've got David's Farm, the general store, and the general store is also our standard shop, but the general store is also a sell point. We've got a grain elevator, Janice's spinnery, the parsonage, which will buy your eggs and milk, and the sawmill, as you would expect, will buy your lumber and wood chips. Surprise, surprise. Now we do have one additional crop on this right here at the end. This is rye. And it looks like rye brings in a pretty good price at normal difficulty, normal economic difficulty. So don't discount rye as a crop if you're playing this map. Now right here is our sheep pasture. And this spot right here, we can open the gate and go in and look around if we want to. But this is also where we would open our animal dialogue and sell our sheep if we wanted to. Right there, like so. This is going to be your water fill point. And this is animal pen extension ready. So if you walk up to this mark right here, you can have the plumber come in and install the pipes to fill the water trough. So that's nice. I like animal pen extension a lot. I would always use it if I'm working with animals. Absolutely, without a question. You do have a chicken coop available right out of the gate also. Just right over here on the main farm. So that's handy. And then the main farm actually extends quite a bit. And we will just take a quick look. The one thing that I really do like is the placement of this barn, and it's a little bit unique, it's a little bit interesting, and I've actually seen this in real life. You know, you've got this rise up onto the hill, and you do start with seed and fertilizer. Plenty of it too. So as a new farmer, you're going to be set up pretty well to get going. Also, if we come down here into our sheep pen, assuming I can get through this door, there we go. We do have several bales of grass ready to feed these sheep, so it's not like you're left in a lurch with a bunch of sheep and no way to take care of them. You do have a water trailer, you do have bales, and then there's a second area to this main farm. So if we run up this way past the sheep pen, and you can see right here is the feed point for your sheep. And there is a cut through right here, which is interesting. I like that. And I have got to turn that off or it's going to drive me absolutely bonkers. Automatic engine start off. Just leave the bloody thing running. I like this too, that the sheep pasture extends through the road like this. It's a nice big sheep pasture, as you can see. Massive, actually. I would expect that to hold a lot of sheep, much more than the 50 you start with. Okay, moving right along. Like I said, there is a second area. We're kind of getting a look at our fields as we go along. But up here, is basically, I mean, this would be where you're going to be doing a lot of your work, I would imagine. Simply because this is your main silo right here. And this silo does hold a mere 200,000 liters, so it looks pretty sizable, but it doesn't hold a lot. Again, there's more storage up here. We do start with some straw bales, and I will explain to you why here in just a second. We've got a nice big barn right here with another shop where you can repair up vehicles. Lots and lots of pig food ready to go, because we do have a pig pen right over here. And this barn also has a second area to store equipment and such right in here. That's actually a really nice building. I like that one a lot. Now, as I said, you do have a pig pen right over here, and you do start with more pigs, as I said, which you can easily sell off, or you can just start working with the pigs. I would imagine this would be the manure point right here. And these pigs are noisy and smelly. Let me tell you, if you've never been to a pig farm, it's not for the faint of heart. But right here is where you would go in to purchase, load up, or sell off your pigs. It is animated. Very nice. This would obviously be your slurry tank here. Water fill right here. With animal pen valves ready to be placed. And then this is actually going to be your feeding area right here. So you would put your pig food. It would go into these tanks and it would sort of auto-fill their troughs, if you will. So that's pretty much it for the main farm. Now there's really not a lot of ground to cover at this point, if I'm completely honest. If you like getting back to basics, if you are, very much into straight farming, that kind of thing, this is the map for you. It's pretty straightforward. Now, one thing that's nice about it is, the fields are very odd shaped. They're not cut and dry by any set stretch of the imagination. You've got forest creeping in on some of them. You have got pasture creeping in on some of them. So there could be some work involved in making the fields what you want them to be. There is one main road right through the middle here. The rest of it is all dirt. And then right up here, this is the very north end of the map. We have several sale points. We also have our fuel station right here. The sawmill back here. And when you want to sell wood, you need to bring it all the way back here to the back side of the sawmill. And apparently, this sawmill wants you to dump it in the water so they can load right up that ramp. But that is your sale point for wood at the sawmill. Coming back around, we have got on the far side of the sawmill, if you've got wood chips, if you're into that kind of thing, your wood chip sale point is tucked back in here. So pretty straightforward. And then of course this is going to be your main shop right here. You would buy your vehicles right over here at the gas station convenience store. And that, as they say, is that. I mean, honestly, most everything, well, everything is directly accessible off of this main trunk, if you will. This main road right down the middle of the map, which is handy. I mean, it's very convenient, very straightforward. Again, if you want to get back to basics, if you enjoy farming on a very direct and straightforward level, this is the map for you. I am slightly interested in the fact that this is a Canadian map, but it has American speed limit signs on it. Now coming up here on the left, this is the parsonage right here, which makes absolute sense. Now one thing that's nice about this map also, I mean, it's only 176 megabytes. So it's not going to take a lot of hard drive space. Most computers should be able to handle it without too much trouble. One drawback, at least at the moment, is that it's PC only, so console players, my apologies. If you were looking at this saying, oh, it looks like a nice map, unfortunately, this one is going to be for the PC players only. And right here we've got our standard biogas plant. A little bit small, but not terrible. It's actually fairly cheap. If you wanted to buy this, I think I saw that was about $38,000. Field access right through here. That's interesting. We've got our digestate fill point right here. We have got a standard tip in for our silage and other products back there. Another sale point, and tucked back in here where you almost can't see it is our lime point. And then I like the fact that some of these fields, you have to cut through ways to get to them. So there's a field tucked back in here that you can only get to if you come up through the sale point or just off of it. That's pretty handy. I like that a lot. So let's just do the briefest of flyovers, and I think that's going to wrap it up for Crawford Farms. As you can see, misshapen fields. None of the fields are square, not by any stretch of the imagination. You're probably going to have to work some headlands in order to keep your workers working. Plenty of fields with islands in them. And look at all the forestry. There are a lot of trees on this map. But if you like a mix of forestry and farming, forestry definitely brings in a different aspect to it. And look at this field. It's cut through the trees right through here. This is the fields are very interesting and look like they could be a lot of fun to work. Some unique challenges there. And here we are all the way back up to the north. But this whole side of the map, with a few exceptions, we've got a field cut back here in the trees. If we weren't flying over it, you almost couldn't see it. Nice ponds. So, on the whole, while slightly basic, I don't see it being all that basic. I think some real thought has been put into this map, and it's very interesting. Very interesting. So let me know what you think. What do you think of Crawford Farms by Rubber Burner 89? let me know in the comments below. I think that's going to do it for this map tour. I hope I covered everything you wanted to know. If not, let me know. I'll fill you in. Anyway, this is CRAWFORD Farms by RubberBurner89. I appreciate you coming along for the ride. And until next time, take care.